components of the adaptive immune response, they contain infections in different ways. B cells produce and secrete antibodies. Antibodies are proteins that are able to bind to bacteria and viruses. Antibodies binding bacterial cells or viruses prevents infections from spreading. The antibodies block the bacteria from growing colonies, and in the case of viruses, the antibodies bind to the viruses and prevent the viruses from infecting cells. Any disease-causing agent, such as a virus, can be referred to as a pathogen. The process of antibodies binding a pathogen to contain the infection is known as opsonization. Opsonization by antibodies not only prevents the spread of infection, but marks the bacteria or viruses for destruction. Phagocytic cells circulating in the blood and fluid surrounding the tissues of the body can detect the presence of antibodies bound to pathogens and then engulf and destroy the opsonized bacteria or viruses. These phagocytic cells are not B cells or T cells and are part of the innate immune response. So while the process of opsonization is part of the adaptive immune response, the actual destruction of pathogens involves the innate immune response. Therefore, both branches of the immune system must work together for a complete immune response to infection. Further detail on this phagocytic process is provided in the video on this channel on inflammation. When a cell becomes infected and cell-mediated immunity is needed, T cells respond by killing the infected cell. There are numerous types of T cells. Cell-mediated immunity is largely dependent on a class of T cells known as CD8 cytotoxic T cells. The CD8 cytotoxic T cells are called cytotoxic because they are able to kill other cells. When a cell becomes infected with a virus, a CD8 cytotoxic T cell responds by killing the cell infected with the virus. Since viruses replicate inside of cells, killing the cell infected with the virus stops the ability of the virus to replicate. Additionally, while often not sufficient to rid the body of cancer, CD8 cytotoxic T cells are also able to kill cancer cells when they detect cells of the human body that have become cancerous. Thus, while CD8 cytotoxic T cells are killing cells of the human body, whether virus-infected or cancerous cells, this can actually preserve health overall in the body because the killing of the infected cells can stop the spread of the virus or cancer. Cell particles and viral proteins that are released into the fluids of the body after the infected cell is killed can then be destroyed by phagocytic cells, just as is the case with opsonization. To summarize adaptive immunity, B cells respond by releasing antibodies for opsonization of pathogens, resulting in the destruction of the pathogens. T cells respond to infected cells by killing the infected cells.